that the Olympics is worth more than everybody else. And so that usually leads to winner's curse.
For more from Zimbalist on the economics of the Olympics and the World Cup, look on our website for the upcoming Science Talk podcast.
Kcaa Loma Linda, your CNBC news station for the Inland Empire.
In a world of boring talk, misinformation, and mindless chat, two superheroes emerge. Okay, that sounded manly.
No, you gotta be kidding me. Let's go!
The action.
Fridays just got fabulous here on KCAA. Get ready to pour yourself your favorite beverage and kick it with Ben and Alexander right here on the Happy Hour. Every Friday evening at 6 on KCAA, 1050 a.m.
Kcaa.
Ray Lucia Show.
Thank you. Thank you very, very, very much. Welcome, folks. We are beginning yet another hour of Money Power right here on the Ray Lucia Show. That's me, along with Bobby Wodridge, producer at large. He's the one that's got the audience all jacked up out there, clapping for us. Hey there, Bob.
Everyone's fired up. Big show today.
Today, Americans are making a $24 billion with a B dollar mistake, a retirement mistake. And we're going to talk about that in particular and address that to young folk like Bobby Wodridge, as he was just talking to me about what billionaire Mark Cuban is advising 20-somethings. That on the docket today. We are guest-free in this hour, so we get a chance to really rock out. That means the phone lines are open for business. So if you'd like to call, now would be an excellent time to do so. 844-RAY-SHOW is the number. That's 844-729-7469. We go from the young to the old as we tackle required minimum distributions. You know, when you turn age 70 and a half, you got to figure that out. We're going to help you with that. And then, this is Morgan Housel Day. At least once a month, I read, or at least paraphrase, but in most cases I read because he's so dang good. The Priceless Art of Not Caring. I love that because when people ask me, you go to the club, hey, Ray, what's the market going to do today? I don't care. I don't know, and I don't care. What's going to happen over the next 5 years? I don't know, and I don't care. Should I short Apple? I don't know, and I don't care. So the joy of blissful ignorance, he says. Part of the problem on and off of Wall Street is sometimes we know too much. And so what that means is you, Bobby Woo, have an advantage. So sit back, relax. The Ray Revolution is starting right now. Living the good old life. Okay, let's start with this $24 billion retirement mistake. According to a recent report, millions of Americans are not taking full advantage of their employers' retirement matching contributions. Now, we've discussed this before, and it seems odd that if I threw a $100 bill at you, that you'd go, no, not me, I'm not taking that. No, here's a free $100. Nah, I'm not going to touch it.
Well, I think we need to visualize that for everybody at home. Why don't you throw $100 on the table, see how I react.
I got a C-note in my pocket. I never leave home without a C-note in my pocket.
I'd be crawling over this table so fast.
The data, they say, is alarming. Why aren't more people taking advantage of the employer matching contributions? A report by Financial Engines examined the records of 4.4 million retirement plan participants and found that 1/4 of employees who companies offer a match aren't taking full advantage. 25%. 1/4 of all of the people out there are leaving free money on the table. Is that you? Is that one of your kids? Is it one of your grandkids? You don't know? Ask them. Find out. Because a lot of them just ignore it because they got more important things to do, like play video games or go out and have a few beers. Not that I ever did either of those. Of this unfortunate group, the average person leaves $1,336 on the table. It's not $100, Bobby. It's $1,336 on average. A quick calculation suggests that nearly 18 million Americans are not fully utilizing their employer's matching contribution. Why? Why is that? I'll tell you why. There's a lot of reasons why. One is ignorance, but the other is the government stuck their mitts into this thing a few years ago. And they have these automatic enrollment programs. So if you don't do it, and it's good and bad at the same time, because if you don't check a box or whatever, they automatically enroll you for a 3% contribution, even though they may be, giving you a 100% match on the first 6%. So you just were lazy and took the 3%. So there's unintended consequences always when the government gets involved. Why not educate yourself? Listen to programs like this, do a little bit of homework, a little bit of research, go to the employee meetings that they have once a quarter, and learn that your employer is giving you free money. You don't take it, poo-poo on you. The most common default contribution is 3%, and 60% of companies use this default rate or less. Yeah, why wouldn't 100% of the companies do it? Because the idiots that don't take advantage of the extra matching contributions means more money in the coffers for the company. It's also possible that many people simply believe that boosting their contributions by a few percentage points won't really make a difference. Really? $1,300 a year won't make a difference to me? And I'm like 3 times almost Bobby's age. Well, at least 2. 3 times. I'm not that old.
Yeah, maybe your dad.
How much of a difference will it make over a 35-year career? $1,336. That only adds up to $47,000. Okay, big deal. But what if you invested that money? Here's a breakdown. This is compelling to beat the band. So you have a 3% match, you just do the 3, but the company is actually offering you 100% on up to 6% of your contribution. But you know what? Having the beers with the boys, Bobby's a little too important to you. So you say, screw it, I'm just going to do the 3%. I'll do the minimum. And I'm the employer going, yeah, that's great because I just saved myself an extra 3% that I get to put in my pocket instead of his pocket. So Bobby contributes 3%. Let's say he makes $50,000 a year. In the radio business at your age, forget about it. Ain't happening. But maybe if you got a full-time job on, some big TV show. Letterman. You can go on the Letterman show now. Well, maybe not. You make $50,000 a year. You're going to take a 3% contribution. You're going to invest that money at, say, 7%. The employer's going to match your 3%, so you're getting 6% overall. You put in 3, I put in 3. 35 years later, you have $520,000 sitting in the bank. Call it $500,000. Not bad. Not bad. If you do 4%, then I got to do 4%. So you kick it up just 1 percentage point, $694,000 in the bank. How's that sound, Babaroo?
Not too bad.
5%, it's $867,000. But if you go the distance and take advantage of the 100% match on the first 6%, which incidentally would be a really, really good plan. Very few companies do that. I'll explain that in a minute. But if you did, you make $50,000, you put up $3,000. It's $250 a month. Can you do that?
Barely.
Okay. So you put up $250, I put up $250. That's $1 a month. For what, $500 a month? Is that right?
Don't
50,000.
Don't ask me math. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's see. If you're doing 6% of $50,000, $3,000, right? Yeah, that's right. So to 3,000 twice. You know what I'm saying. $1,041,203. You're a millionaire.
Show me the money!
Yeah, exactly. So the question then, and by the way, that assumed a 2% salary increase each year, and as I said, a 7% return. This is pretty incredible when you think about the fact that 18 million Americans are walking away from the free money. Now, most employers do 50% on the first 6%, which means if you put in 50%, if you put in 6%, they'll give you 3%, the free 3. It's still free money. It's still a lot of free money. So please take advantage of the company matching contributions. Got it, Bob?
Absolutely.
All right. Now, when we come back from the break, do we really want to talk about Mark Cuban? Nah. I do want to talk about, we go from the young to the old. Required minimum distributions. How's all that stuff work? And then later on, we'll tell you where we're going to be. Coming up to Portland, Oregon here shortly. We'll give you that news just a few minutes from now. And Morgan Housel writes, the priceless art of not caring and the joy of blissful ignorance. Brilliance. Brilliance in just a couple of pages. We'll explain when we come back. So don't go away. 844 Ray Show. Also got some emails just ahead and some doggone good ones today. So don't you miss a minute. Now pay close attention to the commercials because that's how we get to stay on the air. We'll be back. Don't go away. The Ray Lucia Show.
Furniture polishes are a nasty, greasy mess. Introducing Amish Secret, handmade right here in the USA to help bring wood back to life. Amish Secret cleans layers of built-up wax, revealing a fresh, lasting shine without leaving a sticky, oily residue. It cleans and protects in one easy step. We polished this entire tabletop with the leading brand and applied Amish Secret to the middle. Even after dumping dirt and grime all over it, nothing sticks to Amish Secret.
You're not going to have to dust anymore.
I'm getting this. Clean, polish, and restore with Amish Secret for just $10.
We guarantee our handmade formula will nourish your wood and restore that fresh, clean shine, or you get your money back.
Call now and you can double the order. Get a second bottle with our Easy Flow spout. It's perfect for larger areas, but there's more. You can also get a set of our Amish Secret furniture repair markers. Instantly restore color to any scratched wood surface. You can get it all. Call now.
To order, call 1-800-601-2082. But hurry, call now and get the old Amish special offer with all of today's orders. So call 1-800-601-2082.
It gets real, it's live, it's really live, local and in motion. Every day on KCAA, the Inland Empire's only live local motion talk. KCAA 1050 AM and KCAAradio.com.
Hi, everybody. Ray Lucia here. You know, we just saw the biggest jump in mortgage rates in more than 25 years. So now it's more important than ever to lock in your loan with a professional who has a thorough understanding of this wild mortgage market. That pro, Steve Alidor, the loan financial planner from Rancho Financial. Steve is one of the top 1% of mortgage originators in the entire country. And for years, Steve has worked with me, my family members and friends, and in most cases will close your loan in 30 days or less. Time is critical if you're ready to buy or refi. No one knows where rates will go next. Learn the advantages of working with a direct lender who can fast-track your loan. Steve Alidor can calculate which program is best for you and educate you about all of your options. Call the loan financial planner, Steve Alidor, at 888-563-1070. That's 888-563-1070. Or watch Steve's free home loan webinar at loanfinancialplanner.com. That's loanfinancialplanner.com.
Are your student loans making life miserable? Optimum Student Solutions can now help consolidate your federal student loans. That's right, we can help lower your monthly payment on your federal student loans. In some cases, you can lower your monthly payments in half. It doesn't matter how much you owe, even if you are in default on your federal student loans. Just call us right now and find out if you qualify for these substantial savings. We'll help you remove your default status, lower your monthly payments, and stop wage garnishments. Let our experts eliminate the confusion and find the best payment solution for you. All you have to do is make the call. If you are a teacher, nurse, police officer, firefighter, or work for a nonprofit, new federal programs are available that may have a portion of your student loan forgiven. Stop worrying and start saving. Call now, 800-375-1159. That's 800-375-1159. Get free information. Call now, 800-375-1159. That's 800-375-1159.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Do you know where you are? Well, you've done it now. You're listening to KCAA Loma Linda, your CNBC news station. So expect the unexpected.
Here's a look at the KCAA community calendar. I'm Di Rice. The American Cancer Society invites you to join in the Riverside Bark for Life, Saturday, May 23rd at Grove Community Church. Bark for Life is a non-competitive walk event for dogs and their owners to raise funds and awareness in the fight against cancer. The event honors the caregiving qualities of canine companions and remembers those dogs and owners who have lost their lives to cancer. Adults and children are free to attend if your four-legged friends are also attending.
This is KCAA.
One of the great songs from the past. Hey, welcome back, folks, to the Ray program. That's definitely a song Bobby Woodridge wouldn't remember, nor will most of the other millennial that live on in their 20s, etc. Bobby, remember that song, Good Things?
It sounds sort of Beach Boys when I hear Good Things, but that wasn't Beach Boys.
What was that, Paul Revere and the Raiders, was it? Yeah, Paul Revere and the Raiders, yeah. Mark Lindsay with the ponytail. I wanted to be Mark Lindsay once, but then I saw a picture of him. Anyway, no, just kidding. Saw a picture of him recently. Is he still alive? I don't know. I haven't checked. Anyway, first off, I want to go back real quick before I get to the required minimum distributions and help people with that, because it is a sort of a complicated thing. When you get to age 70, you got to make sure you take the right amount of money out of the retirement plan, et cetera, et cetera. And there's a bunch of rules on that I'll cover. But you had brought up something during the break. I forgot what it was because I'm getting old.
Yeah. Well, indeed, you were talking about the company matching and how a quarter of Americans aren't doing it, which is insane. But I was part of the rat race for several years, and then last year I got out of it to launch my own company and work a few different side jobs. And the toughest thing to replace that I sort of knew but had no idea how tough it would be is company matching and saving and also healthcare. Those two things that I took for granted while working for a company have been very, very difficult to replace.
You know, I'm going to do a show. I don't exactly know when, but I'm going to do a show for business owners, because it's stuff like this that gets overlooked. You know, you remember when the president said, or no, it wasn't the president, it was, well, I think he said it too, but what's her name, Warren, Liz, or whatever Mr. Obama called her. You know, they didn't build it, you know, on their own, that sort of thing. That is just baloney. That's baloney. Here's a guy, Bobby Woodridge, who's out there struggling and trying to get health care. You sign up for Obamacare, you got crap.
Yep.
Right? You got a $6,000 deductible, and it's costing you 3 times what it cost you before.
Yep.
Right? I'm not exaggerating.
No, twice the cost, half the care.
Okay. Well, that works out to 3 times in my math.
Yeah, just about, yeah.
No, I'm just kidding. But it costs a lot more money, and a $6,000 deductible. How does a young guy, 28 years old, with no money in the bank, really, to speak of, afford the first $6,000? And then you said you had some kind of a procedure done, and it cost you...
Well, I went to urgent care. It cost me $100 without insurance. Now that I'm paying $220 a month, it only cost me $90.
You saved $10.
Yeah.
All right? So this is what happens. So now he goes self-employed. He's hosed on the health insurance thing. Nothing you can do about that. You know, and it is an issue. And I'm not saying you got to scrap the whole system. Yeah, I sort of am. But we have to modify it somehow, because that's just ridiculous that somebody... I mean, when I was his age, I had like a $15 copay or a $5 copay. I don't know how 28-year-olds come up with $6,000. I mean, that was double the down payment I had on my first house, if you think about that. In either event, you have that particular situation. And then you have the retirement plan, that 401k match. For you to go out and duplicate health care coverage, 401k, and what you didn't mention is your employer before was paying for your Social Security, or at least half of it.
Yep.
So you pay self-employment tax now of 15.3% up to about $118,000 of income.
Yep.
Right? Before, you paid half of that for Medicare and self-employment, or Social Security, FICA, as it were. So you think about that, that's 7.65%. Health insurance, probably another 7%. 401k match, probably another 3, 4, 5%. You've got to make, as a self-employed person, probably 20, 25, 30% more money, at least, just to spin off and do your own thing. Do self-employed people get that much respect out of the government? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Anyway, so I respect you, Bobby, for what you're doing. A young man, 28, branching out on his own. It'd just be nice if you didn't have such a cheap boss in radio.
Well, I think it's just these regulations that they hamstring, which I think America does best, is inventing and entrepreneurs and getting out there, and it kind of hamstrings.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me that that's been a little hamstrung itself. Okay, so if you are successful and you're getting up in my ranks, the required minimum distribution. What is it? How does it work? How do you do the calculation? All right, so first off, if you have a Roth IRA, ignore required minimum distributions because there are none. One of the great advantages to having a Roth IRA is there's no required minimum distribution. Now, if you have a Roth 401k, not so much. You do have a required minimum distribution if you are not working and your money is still sitting in a 401k. Maybe I'll get to those rules in a minute. But here's what Selena Marangian had to say about it. Traditional IRAs or 401ks require a minimum distribution when you begin age, in the year in which you turn age 70 and a half. So how do you do the calculation? You go to the prior year's December 31 balance in your IRAs. First, you got to add up all of your IRAs. It's not done on an IRA by IRA basis. It can be, but that's way too cumbersome. So if you have 3 IRAs with $50,000 each in them, you've got $150,000. If that's what the account balance was at the end of the year, then you go to the table that tells you the factor that you have to use to calculate your required minimum distribution. In the year you turn age 70 and a half, that factor is 27.4. So let's plug in our calculator here and just do a quick hypothetical. So you had 3 IRAs and they added up to $150,000. You plug in $150,000, you divide by 27.4, and you come up with a required minimum distribution of $5,474.45. That's the way you do it. Now, the next year, the required minimum distribution is going to go up a little bit because the factor goes down. It's at age 71, it's 26.4 years. So let's say that you still had $150,000 at the end of the year. 26.4 gives you $5,681 is the next year's required minimum distribution. Market goes up by, 30%, so your $150,000 the next year is worth $195,000. You go to the age 72 factor, it's 25.6. You can get these factors at irs.gov. That year you need $7,617. So that's the way the required minimum distributions work. Now, here's what you need to know. A couple things. If you're still working at age 70 and a half and you're in a 401k plan and you don't own more than 5% of the company stock, you do not have to take an RMD. However, if you have a 401k plan, if you have some other form of a state qualified plan, if you have a profit sharing plan, a defined benefit plan, and you're not working, you must take a required minimum distribution from each of those retirement plans separately. Only the IRAs can be aggregated. All right? All right, maybe more on that in a little bit. I kind of blew some of my time talking about you.
Dang it.
Wow. I had so much more to say about required minimum distributions, but now I've blown that whole segment because of you.
That's my favorite topic, though.
You?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. We'll be back. The priceless art of not caring next. Don't go away.
This is KCAA.
Kcaa
California headline news. Earthquake activity in Northern California. A magnitude 4.1 hitting near Napa Thursday night. This man was at a convenience store when it hit.
I thought I felt a little wobble coming along, and I saw the lottery machine start wiggling a little bit. I grabbed that and grabbed the stationary counter and did a little ride.
No reports of serious damage or injuries. New report says the owner of the ruptured pipeline off Santa Barbara has a lot of past violations. Patrick Hodgins with Plains All-American Pipeline says the number of violations is within industry norms.
Some were associated with regular maintenance activities. Some were actually caused by third-party damage. None of them involved incidents involving injuries.
Crews continue to work around the clock to clean up the spill, which has killed some lobster and fish and left other sea life covered in oil. 2 Southern California men behind bars accused of trying to join ISIS. 4 Los Angeles firefighters injured after falling from a roof while crews battled a fire in a vacant casino in Kcaa. Geico weather mostly cloudy across the state. Jeff Scott, California News.
The 30-year fixed-rate mortgage. It's as American as apple pie. However, over the last 7 years or so, Americans who can't use a tax return or pay stub to qualify have been shut out. Until now, Cash Call Mortgage is happy to announce its new 30-year fixed-rate mortgage up to $3 million for good credit borrowers who can't or won't provide their tax returns or pay stubs. Your payment will never change. Until now, these programs have only been available as some kind of adjustable, and you know which way those adjustables will eventually go. So call 844-890-CASH for all of your 30-year fixed-rate mortgage needs, purchase or refinance. You can even pull up to $500,000 in equity out of your house for any reason whatsoever. Remember, that's 844-890-CASH to find out what today's 30-year fixed rate is with no tax returns. You'll be shocked at how low these rates are.
Impact Mortgage Corp. DBA Cash Call Mortgage. Equal housing lender. Call 866-900-8744 for terms and restrictions. California Department of Business Oversight. Residential Mortgage Lender Law License 4131083. NMLS 128231.
Kcaa.
And 9:32, 60 degrees. And now it's time for Fred Wallen and Sports. And now it's time for Fred Wallen and Sports.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, more of the greatest talk on earth.
And the diversity just keeps on coming.
Your superstation, AM 1050, News Talk KCAA.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
And now it's time for sports. Fred Wallen. And I guess we're having some trouble there.
This is KCAA.
In the time you've spent listening to this radio spot, you could have completed and submitted an entire expense report with a simple picture of your receipt. That's all it takes for you to get back to work and for your business to run more efficiently. To learn more and discover all the ways Concur helps manage your company's expenses, just go to tryconcur.com for a free test drive.
Down to Earth Talk, a show designed to inspire, encourage, build, and bring laughter to listeners. Down to Earth Talk, where we take everyday topics and issues and put them into practical, down-to-earth terms. Topics include relationships, parenting, finances, sports, and entertainment. That's Down to Earth Talk, Saturdays 5:30 p.m. right here on KCAA 1050 AM.
KCAA is your CNBC News affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
I talk about people turning age 70 and a half, and all of a sudden we got music from the 60s playing. I love that. You know, I've mentioned this before, but Morgan Housel, I don't know if he and I would see eye to eye on politics, but when it comes to investing and financial planning things, I'm telling you, this guy usually gets it spot on. I love the way he writes. And today, well, actually, he wrote it last week, but I just looked at it today. The Priceless Art of Not Caring. I've talked about this so many times before, how we are so hung up on every word that comes out of Kramer or CNBC or the Fed or whatever the case may be. And he says, the priceless art of not caring and the joy of blissful ignorance. Sometimes what you don't know or you don't hear or you don't see will make you a far wealthier retiree. So allow me, if I may, quote from Morgan Housel at Motley Fool. In fact, he says he's spent the last 5 years as an investor trying to basically do nothing about his investments. In other words, not caring. He says caring gives a false impression that what you're thinking about is important. If I pay attention to quarterly earnings, shouldn't I be a better investor? If I check what the market did this morning, am I not more informed? Common sense, of course, folks, tells you, sure, I know more because I saw the Apple profit report. And so therefore, I am now a more informed Apple investor. Oh, what do you think? They sent it to you first? No, this is public information. There are millions and millions of people that own shares of Apple, and a lot of them, I'm sorry to say, a lot smarter than you when it comes to that stock. Maybe not, but why should you care? That's the point. Common sense tells you, yes, he says, but it's wrong. More often than not caring is the way to go. So he goes on to talk about his journey. He says it started with the realization that the more media investors paid attention to, the worse they did. The more they analyzed, the more decisions they had to make, the more decisions they made, the more chances they had of being wrong, letting their emotions take over and doing something regrettable. Find someone who has mastered personal finance, and you'll find someone with a pathological ability to not give a damn. That is so true. I mean, people ask me all the time, you know, what's going to happen tomorrow? What's going to happen next year? What's going to happen over the next 30 years? The fact is, I don't know, and I don't care. The reason I don't care is because if I really cared, my blood pressure would be a lot higher than it is today. My health would not be nearly as good, especially back in the day when I was responsible for thousands of pre-retirees and retirees' money. Imagine the stress that people like myself felt back then. And I'm sure my son has to deal with now every single day. Finding the perfect portfolio. Yeah, I want to care about finding the perfect portfolio, and I've discussed this before. Investors crunch numbers to find the perfect number of international stocks they should own at a certain age. Don't we get that email all the time? Yep. Ray, I'm 22% in international. Should I go to 24? Who cares? Do you think that's going to make a huge difference over the next 50 years of your life? Probably not. And no one could tell in advance anyway. So just get an allocation model and stick with it and forget about it. Don't stress over the small stuff. Wasn't that the book? Don't sweat the small stuff. That is so true in investing, because it's all small stuff. The precise amount they should allocate to bonds and exactly when they should cut back on stocks when historical models showed they're overvalued. As I've said many times before, the historical model, the CAPE, has shown overvaluation for the past 30 years or so. So what does that mean? You shouldn't have owned stocks over the last 30 years? And bonds over the last 30 years have done, what, 8%? Probably not going to see that again in your lifetime. No one back then would have predicted that bonds were going to go on a bull run for the next 30 years and produce returns of 8% because interest rates were going to go from 6, 8, whatever, 10, 12% to zero. Who would have predicted that? Here's the truth, he says. None of these models are perfect, so back off the envelope. Good enough estimates will usually do fine. And then he quotes a local San Diegan, Harry Markowitz. Who's Harry? I've had him on the program before. I've had lunch with he and his wife. He won the Nobel Prize way back when for creating modern portfolio theory. Whenever you hear people talk about modern portfolio theory, think about Harry Markowitz. What modern portfolio theory did, folks, is it calculated the optimal asset allocation to maximize return at a given level of risk, the risk-adjusted return. And they had all these academic algorithms, and these guys are all propeller heads big time. And they determined how your portfolio could produce the maximum return at the least amount of risk. With his own money, however, even Harry Markowitz found modern portfolio theory, MPT, more complicated than it was worth. So when your broker or financial planner advisor says, well, I follow modern portfolio theory, just say yes. And did you know this? Harry Markowitz invented it. And when asked about what he does with his own money and how he feels about his own MPT, modern portfolio theory, here's what he said, and I quote, I visualized my grief if the stock market went way up and I wasn't in it, or if it went way down and I was completely in it. So I split my contributions 50-50 between stocks and bonds. Good enough. This is the guy that invented MPT, and he doesn't even follow it because it's not about algorithms. It's not about magical formulas. It's about practicality. Morgan Housel goes on to write, quarterly earnings. The median company in the Standard & Poor's 500 was founded in 1949, so it's 66 years old. Therefore, quarterly earnings tell you what happened in the last 90 days or 0.3% of its life. The odds that groundbreaking developments will occur in such a short period of time are slim, and they are approaching zero as time goes on. Jeff Bezos from Amazon, the CEO, he says he runs his life on a, quote, regret minimization framework. His goal is to look back at age 80 and regret as few things as possible. I wish I would have read this like 25 years ago, because there are several things from an investment standpoint, decisions that I've made that I regret, and most all of us are in that boat. I probably wouldn't have made some of the loans that I made to friends. I probably wouldn't have followed a lot of friends down the primrose path on some startup companies and so forth. And I probably wouldn't have helped the young man from church with $30,000 to help launch his company that went kaput. But in all of the examples, at least that guy gave me a 12-string Taylor out of it. About 10 years later. He showed up at my door with a guitar case and said, I remembered that you helped me out when I was a young man. He was only in his 20s. And yeah, I did. I invested some money in his business to help him out. It was like 30 grand. It was a lot of money to me back then. But I got a 12-string Taylor guitar out of it, which I subsequently gave to my pal Gary Williams, who just passed away about a month and a half, 2 months ago. My former partner on the radio, in the entertainment business. Trying to figure out why the market fell, forget about it. Lots of reasons are always given. One article blamed fluctuating interest rates last week. Another cited Greece worries. Others pointed to the Fed, weak GDP, and falling energy prices. Random, unidentified margin sellers were a little bit more motivated than random, unidentified margin buyers was mentioned. But that probably is the best explanation, by the way. Following the GDP numbers, what the Fed says and all that stuff, an exercise in futility. So the best thing you can do is work on your strategy with a capable and qualified advisor, and then leave it alone and take the attitude that Morgan Housel has and that I have learned to adopt. I simply don't care. We'll be back.
Dinner can take hours to make, and who has the time?
For more local radio every day, tune into KCAA Loma Linda.
This is Dick from Carpet Masters. Carpet Masters has been serving the Inland Empire for over 55 years. Carpet Masters uses extraction cleaning for your carpet because there's no better cleaning to remove the soil from your carpet. All of our furniture cleaning is done by hand in your home or in our plant. Carpet Masters also offers dry cleaning for fine furniture. Call Carpet Masters at 793-7215. That's 793-7215 for Carpet Masters.
Do you have a broken window or rock chip on your vehicle that needs repair? Give us a call at HM Auto Glass, 951-858-5190. HM Auto Glass is your locally owned and operated auto glass specialist, offering low cost and high quality auto glass repair and replacement. We also work with all major insurance companies and offer free mobile service. So call us, 951-858-5190. That number again is 951-858-5190.
Are you tired of dealing with your loved one's addiction to drugs and or alcohol? Are you ready for a solid recovery program that is licensed by the state of California and CARF accredited, that is delivered by an experienced, professional, and caring staff that have a personal experience in recovery? Then call Anaheim Lighthouse at 877-959-5909. That's 1-877-959-5909 today to shine your life light again.
The Osgood File. This is Charles Osgood. Bicycles are a fun, fast, clean, and efficient way of getting around, but they can also be dangerous, especially while they're moving through traffic. Most bicycles don't come with mirrors, and the field of vision that they have is too narrow to be helpful. So in order to see what's behind them, the cyclists have to look over their shoulders, but that keeps them from seeing what's ahead. However, there's a smart bicycle that uses sensors, wireless technology, and video to warn riders of the traffic hazards around them. More about that after this. The smart bicycle comes from scientists at a non-profit in the Netherlands. Dr. Maurice Quakernot and his team hope that it will help to keep people, particularly the elderly, safe while riding in traffic. As he told Reuters,
we see a rise in accidents with elderly people. We also see a rise in the use and the amount of time that they are on a bicycle. And that means that the number of accidents increase, and we try to reduce that by using new technology.
That technology is a combination of radar and video that can sense when traffic is getting too close, and it warns the rider by making part of the bike vibrate.
And vibrations appear to be very effective, and we have done that by putting vibrating elements in the handlebars of the bike and also in the saddle of the bike. We can very effectively warn him for danger from the front, from the back, but also indicating left and right.
The seat vibrates if the danger is to the back or the front. If it's to the left or right, the corresponding handlebar gets shake. Down the road, the scientists hope to enhance their work with wireless technology that would enable bicycles and cars to communicate with each other. It would be similar to the vehicle-to-vehicle technology between cars that we've told you about already. Just another way to make the roads safer for everybody. The Osgood File. I'll see you online at Facebook, Twitter, and at theosgoodfile.com. This is Charles Osgood on the CBS Radio Network.
This is KCAA.
Elaine McFadden inviting you to join me for Smart Health Talk on Thursdays 4 to 5 p.m. right here on KCAA Radio 1050 a.m. Smart Health Talk offers the kind of information that can save your life and save you money, making sure you're getting the biggest Smart Health bang for your buck. We'll keep you up to date on the latest in nutrition, health, and what it takes to keep your home safe for you and your family. Remember, tune in every Thursday, 4 to 5 p.m. for Smart Health Talk, KCAA Radio, 1050 a.m.
KCAA.
Ready, go. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30, 35, 40, 45, 50, 55, 60, 65, 70, 75, 80, 85, 90, 95, 100, ready now, here I come. Apple, peaches, pumpkin pie, who's not ready, holler I.
Hey, welcome back, folks. The Ray Show. Thank you so much for tuning in. I think we've got some emails in the bag, so let's get to it. Bobby, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, just today.
Oh my goodness, we've been loaded with emails.
Yeah, that's just for today. I don't think I can get through 9 of them. But we'll try. Mike in San Jose will be the first emailer of the day. Oh, you know what I want to do? I want a round of applause for Mike. You know why? Mike says, I'm a long-time listener and love the show. My wife and I are 36 years old and make combined income of $500K. Woo! That's fantastic. Of course, it is San Jose. With 2 young children, we're looking at life insurance policies to be prepared in case of an unfortunate event. I'm assuming that means he gets, hit by a truck or something. We believe that a $1 million policy for each of us would be adequate, as it would allow us to pay off all existing debt and leave a good nest egg for the college fund. I'm leaning towards a whole life policy that we could potentially treat as another investment option, but what do you think? Okay, here is the deal. First off, you're making a lot of money and maxed out on all 401ks and all that stuff. You make too much money to do IRAs and Roths and all that. So my feeling is a non-deductible IRA and conversion to a Roth would be the first thing I would do. That's going to get you about, $11,000 per year between you and your wife. So that's a good thing to do. Kind of a neat backdoor way for you to get money in a Roth IRA. So you didn't mention that. I'd do that first. Now, the question is whole life, universal life, or indexed universal life as a tax-deferred mechanism for savings. I like the indexed universal life better, but whole life isn't bad. In fact, whole life is very, very good. The difference, they're kind of priced the same. I know there's a huge debate. The whole life guys will tell you whole life's better. The index UL guys will tell you index UL is better. But they're pretty much priced the same. For me, it's more about the flexibility. With a whole life contract, you don't have nearly as much flexibility in premium payments. If your payment's $25,000 a year, it's $25,000 a year. If you want to skip a payment, you got to pretty much borrow money against the cash value at interest, and the borrowing money affects dividends in the future. It's just a little more complicated. Maybe better in the long run, but in the short run, for me, especially for somebody who's 36 years old, my suspicion is you're going to be needing the flexibility a tiny bit more. So I would go with the indexed universal life. Now understand, you're not going to get rich on either one of them. And I want to caution everybody, because I've talked about indexed universal life on this program before. But I want to make sure that you understand that what is put on an illustration, whether it be with a whole life policy or a universal life policy, is not necessarily a guarantee. Because a lot of it has to do with whether they're using a variable loan interest rate and what assumptions they're making in terms of earnings. Now, the index universal life has actually averaged about 8% in gross earnings over the last 30 years. But if anybody is showing you 8%, turn tail and run. Run as fast as you possibly can, because there's no way that's going to happen to you. They're not taking into account sequence risk, which I've talked about many times in this program. And they're not taking into account the fact that you're going to have fees, and they do show this, net of fees and all that stuff. But the stock market may not produce as high returns in the future as they've produced in the past. So 6%. 6% is good. But keep in mind, if they're showing a variable interest rate at 3% and they're showing an earnings rate of 6%, then when you borrow money out of the contract, in 100% of the cases, you're still making 3% on the borrowed money. That's not realistic. Because some years you will make 0%. You won't go negative, but some years you'll make 0% and still have to pay the 3% variable interest rate. And what happens if interest rates go up? So I'm just saying that the index contract requires a far more well-read broker that understands how this stuff works. Despite that, and it's complicated, I still like it better. But that doesn't mean the whole life that you're looking at isn't a good thing. Now, a lot of people are probably saying, well, why on earth would you use a life insurance policy anyway to save money? Well, for people that make $500,000 a year, they're in a very high income tax bracket. Very high income tax bracket says, if I can accumulate money in a policy on a tax deferred basis, that's a good thing. I still got to pay my expenses, but over long 30-year time periods, that money accumulates far faster because it's tax deferred, and it makes up for the mortality expenses and the other expenses within the contract. In particular, because when it comes time for retirement, you can borrow money out tax-free. So that tax-free arbitrage is what gives the life insurance policy the edge. It's like a souped-up Roth IRA. Not quite as good, in my opinion, as the Roth, which is why I advised Mike here in San Jose to do the two-step plan for the Roth conversion first. But this is a very, very good question. Mike, it's a very complicated answer, requires a top-notch financial planner, broker, insurance agent that knows what they're doing, that will explain to you all the good stuff. They're really good at that. But they got to also explain all the bad stuff, the pitfalls associated with borrowing money from an insurance contract. Because keep in mind, you borrow for 30 years and you got millions of dollars of loans against that policy. And if the policy goes into the state of lapse, you got an enormous ordinary income tax liability. Now, I will say this. There are contracts out there where you can add these riders, no lapse riders, which will protect you, and others that will actually commit contractually to a guaranteed income stream. So you don't have to guess one way or the other. It could be more, but guaranteed income stream for X number of years. Your broker should be able to help you with that. And if they can't, find a new one. Man, I blew the whole segment on one email.
What is a good email?
It's a good email, and this is complicated stuff, and I have talked about it before, and I haven't spent that much time because I've had other guests that talk on the subject, and sometimes the guests say stuff that I cringe, and sometimes they're spot on. You know, you can't control everything a guest says. That's all I'm saying. Maybe that's why today we were guest-free. I don't know. No, most of them are fantastic. They're great guests and really, really good people. But in this area, it's super, super complicated. Indeed. I am out of time. I want to thank everybody for your emails. Go to AskRay.com. And if you happen to be in the Portland, Oregon area, come see us May 30th, the Hotel Monaco, 8 until noon, accredited.investorsummit.com. Bye-bye. Now go out and make it a great day.
You're listening to The Ray Lucia Show, taking calls from across the nation and answering questions about your biggest financial challenges. Ray Lucia is not a registered representative of or affiliated with any securities, brokerage, or investment advisory firm.
You're on board KCAA's Inland Talk Express. KCAA, Loma Linda, 1050 AM.
DC quadruple murder, oil, bikers. I'm Evan Haining. The man suspected of killing a Washington, D.C. family and housekeeper was arrested in Maryland last night.
He's going to be in court this afternoon, facing arraignment on this charge of first-degree murder involving a weapon, a very serious charge.
Correspondent Tom Ford